Welcome back to Remembering Smallville.
A Smallville rewatch podcast. I'm Daniel.
I'm Nicole.
I'm Kim.
And I'm Brett.
Hi, guys. Welcome back.
Yay, another season 3 episode.
Whoop whoop. Here we
So,
go.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Did you in high school or college ever have an on-again, off-again boyfriend or girlfriend?
I did not. I have no fun stories.
That's not true. We love your stories, Nicole.
My story makes me sound like a bad person, so...
Well, hold on. At that age, we were very emotionally immature, so it's fine. No judgment.
That's true. I mean, there were several times throughout high school and then my early 20s before I met Nicole where there were girls who I could basically call at any time.
It's a Nickmo.
We could make out and do whatever. So, yeah.
That's not an on
But
again,
you
off
weren't
again
together.
boyfriend.
Some of them were. Sometimes
Okay.
we'd like actually go for a while and then be like, eh.
So you had quite a few.
Then like 2 years later, we'd,
Wow.
There was a girlfriend that I had that I was not on and off again. She was on and off again with her boyfriend, and I was an in-between.
Oh,
No.
that's exciting.
Yeah.
You were on the hook.
Well, I didn't know this at the time. Like, I'd known her before when she dated this guy. Then I dated her, and then she broke up with me to go date that guy, and then she married that guy. So
Was this college or high school?
college, yeah.
That's hilarious.
So no, I haven't done it myself, but I've been a victim, we'll say, of that.
My first husband, so we got married really young, and we were on again, off again all the time because it was not a healthy relationship, but all the time. It was so exhausting.
Well, that seems to be just like a TV show that we might know.
Like what?
Like maybe Clark and Lana's on again, off again.
Oh, they're like off, on for 2 minutes, off.
Yeah.
It's like almost done, on, off. Oh,
Yeah, seriously.
So annoying.
Well, speaking of annoying, let's get into this next episode, which I don't even think is that annoying.
Shout out to all meteor freaks. We can't help you, but you can help us by following us on social media at Remembering Smallville, and our link is in the description. Listen, we're mooching off of you. If you like, comment, and subscribe, we might make money, and it doesn't hurt you.
This is season 3, episode 2, Phoenix.
After Jor-El grants Jonathan temporary superpowers, he and Clark engage in a battle atop the Luthor Corp building, and Lex must determine who arranged his plane crash. And Lana and Clark have some drama. And
Yeah.
there's some crime lords and other stuff.
Right? There's kind of a lot in this episode. So we get into my favorite scene of the whole episode right off the bat, and that is Jonathan and Clark battling it out in this like Luthor Corp basement that they've fallen into. from the sky.
Superman versus Super Dad.
Yeah.
And they're destroying, like, foundation of the building.
Yeah.
Cement pillars, throwing each other through these things. I love it. I'm taking you home.
And it's pretty intense. I mean, after they fight and scuffle, that both of their clothes are all ripped, and Clark's like, don't mind if I do. And I didn't mind.
Now he like angrily rips the last shreds of his shirt off.
Mm-hmm. And it's the first time that Jonathan sees the branding. And he's like, what did your dad do to you? Mm-hmm. Because Clark kept it a secret before he ran away.
Yeah.
And I think that also is just like, ugh. Jonathan's like, I already hate Jor-El. I know he's helping me right now, but F that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jonathan has to remind himself, basically, I am doing this for him and for our family. It's not even for Jor-El.
Yeah, to fight my own son, that's got to be hard.
But this has one of my favorite little sequences. There's a short, 7 seconds of this really good slow-mo thing where Clark runs into Jonathan and Jonathan like kind of wraps around and grabs his belt and then tosses him away.
That.
Yes.
I thought it was so cool.
So good.
It's probably the best moment of the show so far as action sequences go.
And then he tests Clark even on Red K, and he says, you want to do it? You want to kill me? Do it. And he tempts him right there.
Yeah, if I've raised a son that can kill, then kill.
And out of frustration, Clark punches the wall, which he's not done before, apparently.
You think he did that on accident? Like he didn't intend to break it?
No.
Oh, I always assumed he intended to break the ring.
Oh yeah, I think a piece of him
You're
wanted to
kidding.
break it?
Yeah.
No, I thought,
Yeah,
like,
no, I
instead
think a
of
strong
punching-
enough piece of him wanted to break it that he didn't want to hit his father and kill him. I think he won the battle over himself.
Yeah,
even
that's
with
what I
Red K.
thought.
I think it's a super, super moment for Clark.
I feel like he just won the battle over his mind. I didn't
Yeah.
feel like he was trying to break the ring.
I did.
No, I think he won the battle over his mind, and that includes being able to break the ring.
That he's decided,
Interesting.
I can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he gives it up.
Smashes the ring.
And his brand comes right off.
Oh, and his dad, Jonathan, collapses.
But it doesn't make sense because he didn't get the brand when he put the red
Well,
ring
the
on.
deal with Jonathan was that
Clark could stay in Smallville and be there with them for now.
for
He's
a little
not
while
ready.
longer. Yes. So they both agree that Clark's not ready for what Jor-El has in mind. And so Jor-El is keeping the brand on him because the brand really is a punishment in the first place. It was because Clark didn't listen the first time, so he got the brand. After that, now he's going to be obedient. Jor-El can trust Jonathan to bring him back, and he's going to wait. So he removes the brand until further notice.
So, and you don't have to answer this, but I'm kind of excited. Does Clark start to wonder, like, what did you bargain for with my dad? Or does that just come out? Like, does Clark not even think about it?
He does ask him, like, you made a deal with him, didn't you? And
Yeah.
Jonathan's like, it doesn't matter. You're back. It's all that matters. And so that's all you're going to get.
Okay.
For a while.
All right.
But I know what it is.
As soon as you see it, you'll realize.
I think I know, actually, but I'm
Would you
just
like to
guessing.
predict?
I think it's his death.
Why do you think that?
I don't know. I feel like it'd have to be something really sacrificed. And so I feel like when Clark is ready to leave, like he gets to stay with them for now, and then he gives up his life. I have no idea.
Well, I guess we'll see.
Interesting prediction.
I love it. I love it.
But Clark brings Jonathan home after the intro, and he embraces his mom, and he feels terrible about everything still, but at least they can deal with it in a more healthy way than running off on drugs, essentially.
Yes.
Yeah. All we need to know is that we're happy Clark's home, but Jonathan's real tired.
Yeah.
Having powers took a toll.
Yeah. And at this point, his powers are gone, right?
Yes,
Yep.
they're gone. You see them like get sucked out with that like a little beam of light, like they kind
As
of
soon as
leave
the
him.
ring like breaks.
Yeah, they kind of leave him.
Yeah.
And he just collapsed. So then, our next scene,
scene.
we get... Big, tell us about
That's
it.
what I think you mean, Nicole. Like, right, Lex just shows up in a hoodie.
Right,
It would have been
exactly.
better if they would have like
Just
shown
yeah,
his journey.
like, even
just
if
a
he-
little.
Even if he like, this is how what I picture.
Okay.
He's, I'm sure, Googled himself on because he has to fly.
Right. He has time.
He's on an island in like the Gulf of Mexico area on that side of the world. He's having to probably fly into Florida most likely and then get a flight into Kansas. So he's Googling what's going on, doing a little bit of research. I'm sure there's pictures from the funeral with Helen sad, Lionel walking away, speculations, and he's decided Helen loves me, Lionel doesn't. And I picture him getting it to the airport in Metropolis, going out to where the cabs are, and someone saying, "Where to?" And he goes, "Luthor Corp Tower." Or something.
That would have been really good.
Right? Because he's
Yes.
like decided daddy's got to go. So he gets up there. Lionel's at the in his office looking at the damages from the break-in.
Yep.
That's never mentioned again.
And there's no issue with the fact that there was a Clark and a Jonathan
I
just
know.
standing in his office destroying crap.
I
And
know.
falling from a tower. 'Cause
Right.
cameras, right?
Right.
Whatever.
Maybe Lionel doesn't put cameras in his office.
Oh, sure.
Probably not.
Well, but Clark probably would have destroyed that when he went to go steal
You'd
the
hope.
stuff in the
True,
We're
first
going to have to
place.
assume he has just destroyed
Again,
all the
headcanon.
security.
Yeah.
Lionel's just standing there, and then Lex from the shadows is ready to kill his dad. Pretty intense.
Yeah.
And where did he get said gun? We don't know. Off the street.
From the cabbie. It's a big gun.
It's a huge gun.
Yeah. So yeah, we get a flashback from Lionel of what Helen said happened. How Lex gallantly said, "There's one parachute left.
Yeah.
Take it. I love you."
And we know that's not true.
Right.
And Lex knows that's not true.
Right.
Yep.
He wishes it was.
And so that puts enough doubt into his mind that he leaves his dad alone.
Spares his little daddy.
Yeah. I just don't understand. If someone pointed a gun at my face, I just don't think I could forgive him. But they do a lot of that. In
Well,
this
and could
in
you
this
like
show.
explain like what's going on if you had a gun? You know
I
what I mean?
know.
Like, let me tell you the truth.
Well, I mean, Lionel does like have his hands up
That's
the whole
true.
time, and
That's
is like
true.
kind of backing away and like
Let me tell you.
diffuse.
But you're right. Like you wouldn't really. But I mean, okay. First, Lionel. This is not the first time he's had a gun pointed to his
That's
face.
true. In this
And
office,
he's probably secretly proud. Like my son survived. And now he's
Oh,
gonna
I
kill
know.
me.
Like, go, Lex. You're finally becoming the man I raised you to be.
Yeah.
Right.
He had some small inner parental proudness.
Next, Clark and Jonathan go into the cave to have a little father-son chat that they could have had anywhere. And they kind of talk about what happened, that they're going to face their problems together as a family.
Yeah.
But then Clark says, like, I made a bad choice in Metropolis. And he tells them all about Morgan Edge, the crime lord, that he stole the blood. And they check the blood. And by they, I mean Jonathan. He takes a piece of kryptonite, holds it next to the blood, and it boils. What an amazing effect.
I know.
Isn't that cool?
Isn't that? Oh, how did they do it?
I don't know.
But I loved it.
Yes.
So,
they did
Nicole,
so
how
good.
long typically does blood stay even viable?
About 40 days.
I
But
didn't know that.
whose blood is this?
Clark's.
So it probably is going to stay viable forever.
Good call.
Probably. Jonathan smashes the vial against the barn wall and thinks problem solved.
Yeah.
But no, not problem solved.
So when Clark got back, I don't know what I was expecting, right? But I absolutely love how he is just tormented.
Oh,
Yeah.
Like
as
he
you
didn't
should
just
be.
go back to normal life.
Yes.
No.
He
Yeah.
is hurting so bad. And it's so sad to watch.
It's like if someone gets kidnapped or is held hostage or
Yeah.
has a very traumatic moment, it can change you.
Yeah.
And
You
I
don't just
think-
go back home and you're like,
Right.
sweet, I'm safe. Yeah.
Right. I feel so bad for everyone. Like
Yeah.
the trauma.
Like so much pain and heartbreak that everyone's feeling right now.
Oh, I know. Because Jonathan knows this isn't going to go away. Crime lords don't just like let things go.
Right.
And speaking of crime lords, in the next scene, Lionel is having a special drink with our crime lord, Morgan Edge.
I thought it was kind of gross that they just had a vial of blood and smashed it.
Yeah.
Then whatever he's pouring
It's like a dark red
is
syrup.
red. I'm like,
Yeah.
ugh.
Yeah, they're making a special drink because these bros are frenemies for sure.
And this didn't surprise me one bit.
No.
I was like, of course you are.
So they keep hinting about this crime that they both know about in the past, and they do it throughout the
Yes.
episode.
It's good.
You do find out
Yeah.
what this is.
do?
do.
This whole season is real like interconnected and a lot of it just goes together really well.
Ooh, I'm excited.
I'm going to give you a teaser.
Tease me.
The vial of blood and Helen Bryce and everything that has happened around this vial of blood and Lionel getting this blood and all of this stuff and Lex having the blood for a short time has consequences that are pivotal for season 10 of the show.
What?
How?
You'll find out. In fact, after the vial of blood stuff gets kind of resolved in this season, it is never mentioned again until season 10.
Whoa.
I'm so excited. All right.
It's a long way to wait.
I know, but it's a little teaser. I'm not going to tell you what. You're probably not going to be able to guess very easily what it is that it makes it important, but it is not something that the writers forget. Somebody somewhere remembered this and decided to make it real important.
That's pretty cool.
Wow.
That's
But
pretty neat.
the meat of that chat with Edge and Luther is that Edge took the blood and Lionel gives him 24 hours to give it back or else. Mm-hmm. And I mean, that shows how powerful Luther is because Edge is like, I will. Don't
Yeah,
worry.
and he's the crime lord of Metropolis, and he's still afraid of Lionel Luther.
Oh my gosh, I know.
Everyone's afraid of Lionel. So we get a Clark and Lana conversation. It's awkward. I don't really know who you are. Well, that's fair. And Clark isn't even sure if he's going to stay.
Yeah, but Clark's like, I missed you every second I was gone. It's like, stop sending mixed signals. This is such a huge juxtaposition between two crime lords having a tete-a-tete while drinking alcoholic beverages versus two teens bickering in a coffee shop about
I like the
relationship.
juxtaposition. It brings the stakes and everything back down to Smallville stakes and not like giant
guess.
citywide crime stakes. Because one of the problems you can get if you're not careful in writing is you can raise the stakes too much and then you can't get back very easily. And that's one of the best things about superheroes is they always kind of go back to helping stop little muggers on the streets, or they do small things again to reset the audience's expectations of the stakes and also be able to reset the stakes because it can't just be world-ending things all the time.
Always.
And so this is a good chance for them to put the stakes back into the teen romance, which is lower overall, but to them, it's a huge deal.
So we keep our story going in the next scene. Lex and Helen reunite.
Yes, and I hated it.
Now I
just
know why
feel
you guys
icky.
hated her.
You just feel icky the whole thing.
Because she's like, oh, I'm so happy you're back. And then she tells the story. The alcohol must have been drugged. The champagne must have been
I
drugged.
shouldn't have lied to everyone. There was just one, and I couldn't wake you. And
Survival instincts kicked in.
She does a good job at playing
I
bad
hated it.
and good.
And
so.
she tells Lex, I sold the blood to your dad so he would stay away forever. What?
I know.
Like you thought that would work, you dummy? Uh-huh. And then immediately she's like, well, let's just annul the marriage.
yeah,
thinking that would just
Solve
Solve everything.
Just, like, she's just so quick to, like, explain away or make things go away. It's so
she's like,
sus.
if you don't let me do this, and really in her mind as the villain, she's like, sweet, back me out of this, and I run away and have no connection and get away from this because Lex was supposed to be dead, and I don't want to have any connection to this.
yeah.
And then Lex convinces her to do Honeymoon Part 2.
Which I thought was really weird.
It was weird, and even the scene where they're on the plane together.
Oh, creepy. It wasn't super believable.
Yeah, it was really only okay, but they've got to resolve it somehow, I guess.
So we remember this conversation from last season. We kept asking you, how do you think Helen is going to leave the series? It was
Said
just,
she'll die.
yeah.
Well, maybe. Then we're back at the farm. Clark's doing some packing, loading the truck. And Morgan Edge shows up. And Clark plays it tough and tells him to leave. And he does, for now. But then we skip along to the high school where Chloe's doing some work. And at 19 minutes and 30 seconds, her belt is ginormous.
Let's look
It's
at it.
maybe 8 or 9 inches like tall. It's huge.
Oh my gosh.
It's like an apron. It's so big.
That's amazing.
It's very subtle, but it's there, and it like took me completely out of the scene because I was like, flippy hair Chloe in a giant belt.
I
Yeah,
hope she stole some. You know how sometimes you're not allowed to take the clothes, but actors take them home with them and steal them? I hope she stole that belt.
That's funny.
It's a very small scene. Clark comes to apologize. I'm sorry, I was the worst. And then Chloe's like, you're not staying, are you? And he's like, I'm undecided because I've made a lot of bad choices and
Which
I'm
broke my heart.
hurting.
And Chloe says it's time to stop running away from your bad choices and face them like the rest of us have to do. And
Yeah.
I like that. This is a good Chloe moment. They seem to be bringing Chloe back in more sensibly into the mix.
Yes.
yeah,
it's
mending
not-
all their fences.
Yeah, and it's a good thing. She's got slightly more innocent hair.
Yeah, it's better.
It's flippy.
And then one of my favorite parts of the episode, Clark's doing some packing because they're going to have to sell the farm. And lo and behold, Lex shows up like a phoenix rising from the ashes.
I can't take him
Right?
seriously with his face.
Oh, I loved it. I thought it was so realistic.
It was. And I think that's what's so funny because in movies, they don't hold on to that.
Right.
They don't hold on to all the scrapes.
They heal up so quickly.
Yeah.
Right.
And so I love
And I'm
it.
like, did they separate Tom
I
Welling
think
and Michael
so.
Rosenbaum
I think so.
between filming these or something to like give them a higher chance of having such a really genuine,
So genuine.
yes.
like they smile, the way they hug, everything about it is so good. Either that is pure acting or they kind of added some oomph to that acting in order to make it so genuine. 'Cause it was so
I would
good.
hope they probably hadn't seen each other since the wrap of season 2.
That would be so
And
cool.
so then they either filmed this first.
Maybe we need
of
to
them
go check
together?
out the Talkville episode when they talk about this and see if
Maybe.
they say anything.
I
Because it's
loved
really
it.
good.
And Clark tells Lex, we thought you died. And he goes, well, I was hallucinating from malaria, but even though I was alone, I found an enemy. And I think Lex, in this moment talking to Clark, is like, I want to be better. I want to be a good guy. I don't want to have enemies, even within myself. And he's ready to be good. But then the world just won't let him. Won't let him be good.
Just
Look,
does
you
not
see her
let
belt again in this next.
Is that just hold on? Is that just part of her shirt?
No.
No, it's a belt.
Oh, so this is the scene where Chloe approaches Lana in the Talon, and it looks like she has that belt again.
Yeah, she does. And it's ginormous.
So what do they talk about in this scene?
That Clark has more issues than Rolling Stone.
Yeah. Chloe and her phrases. But the problem with this scene that Lana is really upset with Chloe for lying to her, and Chloe was upset about Lana lying about their relationship, and there's all this little teen
They're
girl
just
drama.
mad at each other and girl drama. It doesn't really matter.
And it's been like this for all of season 2.
Yeah.
Basically,
You know?
and I'm sick of it. Are you starting to understand why I'm like, oh, Lana, just go away?
100%. Only because, well, there's lots of reasons, but the main one is that they don't end up together. So I hate that. I hate prequels for that reason too.
There are good moments to look forward to with Lana. I
Good.
promise.
Okay.
You're going to
Good.
get some really good, satisfying stuff with her. But again, it is hard to get as satisfying as you could because you know she's going to be written away.
Yeah.
It's easier with a one-off girl like with Kyla in the previous
Yes.
season where
You just see Clark happy for a minute, and you want to just hold on to that.
and they did a better job at enveloping his world, Clark's world, into that small moment where he has that girl and not see beyond it. But with Lana, she's just that constant one, and she's like the love of his life, I say in air quotes, and she's not the love of his life. He can have many relationships, but they act like she is and she's not, and it drives me nuts after a while. I just want it to end.
Yeah.
But we have a few more seasons of this nonsense, garbage, drama, butthole stuff.
Clark walks into his barn and finds Morgan Edge calling him Cal because of his
Persona.
persona, if you will. And now he's got his parents.
Yeah, he's like, I
kidnapped.
wanted to meet your parents. Oh,
And in
they're
this
all
scene, Clark
tied
does the
up.
dumbest thing he has ever done, I think.
So stupid. Okay, he knows that he needs to get his blood to them. So you know what I would do? I would say, okay, time me. I need 12 minutes, 15 minutes, something. I buried it far, far away. I'm speedy, you know that. I'll go get it, but I put it really far away so my parents wouldn't find out.
Yes.
Hold on. Speed run to the hospital, steal an empty vial, then cut yourself, and then give it back and do it somewhere else and then just walk in and say, here you go.
Well, they don't even know it's from him.
I know!
So it could have just been any vial of blood.
That's what I'm saying.
I
do,
understand.
do it somewhere else.
I understand not having the forethought behind that. He's been ambushed about this. But
Oh my gosh.
or at least if you come up with the idea, oh, I'm going to give him my blood, why are you showing off your one weakness?
Yeah.
Seriously.
That's exactly. I wanted to ask Nicole. I'm like, Nicole, I know you have a more logical way to do this.
That's
in
the
many
way.
ways, I really like the little scene where he cuts himself and fills the
'cause
blood.
now we
and
know.
he's
And
so
I don't
brave
think Morgan
about
Edge
it.
knows that it wasn't a vial of blood. Like, he probably knows that it was blood, but he doesn't know exactly what vial or
Yeah.
Or
what
why
it
it's
looked like.
valuable or
I
what-
know.
and
He
what's
doesn't know
part of it.
anything. He just knows that it's valuable.
Well, and up until this point, we knew kryptonite weakens him, right? We did not know he could tear his skin
So
with
good.
kryptonite and bleed.
Like, the visuals are good and great. Can you do it by yourself?
And so I'm going to just point this out. We've talked about it a couple times in this episode and the last. They've done fantastic with special effects in
Yes.
these.
Yes.
There's a giant leap from what we've seen in season 1 and season 2.
Yeah, for
This
sure.
is a leap. Watching the blood boil, I just want to point out, how would that feel if your blood was literally boiling?
Exactly.
Oh.
That's why he's in
Inside
so
you.
much pain
Oh, I
every
know.
time.
That's actually what kills you when you get exposed to the vacuum of space prior to the hypothermia.
really? Your blood boils?
Sick.
Wow.
Yeah, it boils in the vacuum because there's no pressure. It's really good and everything. The effects are good. Yes, yes, yes. I kind of wish that it was even a little bit more intense. I kind of wish that the blood kind of smoked a little bit or turned into steam a bit as it passed through the kryptonite. That would have been cool. But
That would have been cool.
anyway,
But he has his jam jar
yeah,
Yes.
jam jar full of blood.
in
my
a
gosh.
brown paper sack.
Morgan Edge takes the blood and says, cronies, stay here with the parents and with Clark tape this rock to his chest.
With
You
duct
guys
tape.
stay here. I'll take the only vehicle. So he drives to the docks and meets up with Lionel and
Except
says,
for the truck. Isn't the truck there? The
"Not
big
yet."
truck?
He calls them later and says, "Bring Clark to the dock."
I think this is very smart of Morgan Edge. He is playing Lionel the best he can. And so he's bringing him the sample because he's pretty sure.
And he has a deadline to bring it.
Yes. And he's also pretty sure that he can play this in such a way where he can get way more out of this.
Oh,
whole
100%.
thing.
If you've got if
source.
you need milk, but you've got the cow, he's
yeah.
got the cow, as it were.
And they test the blood, which means that they've extracted some in there. They've kept some somewhere so that they can test it against itself. And they test it and they find that it's actually the blood of the source. And then you realize that Lionel doesn't truly know where this blood comes from. He knows that there is a source of it. And he knows it's something extraordinary, but he doesn't know it's Clark.
Right. And Morgan Edge tells him, "I know where the blood comes from." And so he calls the crony and says, "Bring Clark. Use that moving truck that's conveniently located next to the barn." So one crony takes Clark, puts him in the moving truck, and starts the drive to Metropolis. While Lana shows up just to chat with the Kents.
And I talked about this when watching with Kim. She pulls up, and the bad guys don't do anything to her right when she gets out.
Right.
They could totally have just like taken her. They walk past her. Like,
Yeah, they're just like, "We're just simple movers. Don't mind me."
Right.
And Clark couldn't make a sound in there. Oh, come on.
I mean, the kryptonite makes it hard for him to do anything,
I
including
know,
speak. So.
but still.
I love Jonathan's sweet father attempt to save his family. Breaks the chair, doesn't get far.
Yeah, but he almost does. Did you almost believe he was going to
Yeah. Oh,
save
yeah.
the day?
But no. Lana uses her hostage training.
Yeah.
Or
to impale a guy on a pitchfork.
Oh, the trauma.
And I was like, Tina Greer, again.
She kills someone.
I know.
Lana killed a person in this episode. And then, hey, Kents, what did you do with that body?
The new sheriff in town's going to have to come talk to everyone
There's
about
a
what
dead
happened.
body impaled on a pitchfork. Lana's prints are on a gun. Jonathan's broken a chair. He's conscious on the floor. The trauma. How do you play this off?
It's all because someone kidnapped Clark? Nope, you're not going to tell that side of the story.
What do you... Clark's been missing for 90 days. I'm sure the sheriff noticed.
Yeah.
He's now
just
back.
They could have done this. I could see a scenario where Clark has actually been kidnapped for these last 3 months. He escaped. He came home.
But they
We
told
thought it
no
was-
one?
No, we thought it was over, and he said that if they told him that they would kill his family and that he,
Okay.
you know, they could fabricate a story really
the story,
easily.
though. How do you keep track of all this stuff?
The web that you weave.
I appreciate that Lana doesn't beat the crap out of the baddies.
She just hits him with a hammer.
She just staggers them enough to where things can happen, and then she's lucky.
Yeah. Which was believable.
If this
It's
was written
incredible,
today,
yeah.
if this choreography were created today, this fight choreography, she would have kicked the crap out of them easily.
Yeah.
And do you know, in UFC fighting, which is kind of the most realistic fighting you can find, there are weight classes for a reason. There is a video that I've seen where there's this really big, chubby guy who actually has very little fight experience, and he fights two professional MMA fighters that weigh like 80 pounds less than him each, and he beats the crap out of them.
Two at the same time?
Yes.
Just because of his weight.
Yes, because
That's
he's so much
amazing.
bigger, and he's like a big, chonky, strong guy against two professional, strong fighters who are probably I'm more like 100 pounds less than him, which is what a woman is to a crony bad guy like that. And he kicks the crap out of them. And so it doesn't matter how skilled you are. If somebody is that much bigger than you, it is very, very difficult to do anything. You have to be able to use their weight against them, do stuff. And even then, they can still overpower you. Imagine if you're fighting against a kid, like a child, like a 10-year-old kid. They can't do anything against you. Even if they knew their black belt in karate. Okay, rant over. So we get to the
interesting.
next scene and we're on the plane again.
It was
I just
so
have a
weird.
thought. I just don't understand why Lex chose to do this on a plane in the sky.
It
It's
nails
so
it
him.
home.
Yeah. Well, and he's like, you did this to me. Let me do this.
Yeah, okay, so let's say it's just normal people chatting and they're going to have this whole thing out. They then have to sit in the plane to a destination for 2 hours. What? Do it there.
There's so many other ways. Yes. Yes.
I just don't have words for how stupid it is.
Oh, and then, she pulls out a gun to shoot him. And of course, because movie TV always. Someone falls down with the gun and it accidentally
Kills the
fires
pilot.
and it shoots through a door, kills the pilot, and now everything's going down
Yeah, it's not like it grazes him or whatever. It goes through his heart.
instantly.
Seriously.
And Nicole, of course you're right. The billionaire's son hops in the pilot
Because
seat.
he can fly a plane,
Yep.
of course.
Yep.
Well, I just loved that Lex tells Helen, if my father wanted me dead, he wouldn't have failed.
Yes.
And it's so true.
Good stuff.
And that's what helps him realize it was you, because you suck.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, the only reason you didn't get a bullet in your head is because I really did fall in love with you. And meh, meh, meh.
Not because of her, Hippocratic oath.
Right.
Oh, she's over that when she took money from Lionel to spy on him. She's,
Right. She's
So
kind of the
dumb.
worst. But she disappears. She
She
takes
jumps. Yep. She takes the parachute and jumps out of the plane.
and just don't hold your breath. You don't see Helen Bryce again.
Yep.
So do you find out what happened to her?
I don't know.
I don't remember exactly around that,
But not enough to be.
she is not credited in any other episodes for the rest of the show. Yeah, I just don't want the listeners to be like, "Is she coming back? Is she coming back?" No, don't waste your thought on it. She's gone.
Thank you.
Back on the docks, Edge and Luther are waiting for the delivery of the source of the blood, which is got to be a minimum half-hour wait. I don't know what they were talking about for that half hour,
Yeah,
but
he
they
had
were
to drive from
Right.
Smallville to Metropolis
in
on the
a
docks.
moving truck full of stuff. It's going to be a slow drive. But Clark's in the back in pain, jostling. He breaks a picture, is able to get the rock off of him, chuck it far enough away that he's better. And at first I was like, oh, what's going to happen here? How is this going to go? I was kind of nervous for Clark. But as soon as the truck is arriving at the docks, Clark heat visions the propane and
tank.
acetone tank that have been placed ever so in the moving truck, which causes massive explosion. That would have killed Lionel. Do you see how far he flies back?
Yeah.
He flies
The
across the
concussive
lot.
force to knock you back like that would have killed you.
I mean, at minimum, he'd have collapsed lungs. He would be toast.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Of course, it doesn't hurt Clark. A crazy shooting happens, right? So in my mind, I'm like, where did the beautiful Asian lady go? She's still sitting in the car.
Just chilling, watching people shoot guns,
She's
big
like,
thing
I
explode.
just care about science.
This ain't her first rodeo, I guess.
But
And
I
then-
really liked it because at first I was like, there are a lot of people who've seen Clark cut his wrist, but one has now been impaled. The other one we know is dead, and then Morgan Edge has been shot and or falls into the water.
Ding, ding, ding.
Easy rule. If you do not see the dead body, they're not dead.
Didn't
So
happen.
So we can assume this is not the end of Morgan Edge just because of we don't trust anymore.
Yeah.
no, we
him.
don't.
Yep.
And here you go. This is for you, ladies. Clark stepping out
Wet
of the water.
Clark.
Beautiful. But to wrap up this episode, back at the mansion, Lionel kind of is like, wow, son, you did it. I didn't think you would. I have surveillance on my planes. And that was entertaining. And they kind of have like this mutual respect. And I think back when Lex had just got back and he was talking to Clark, he wanted to be good. But him now having been betrayed by his wife, that's done.
Yeah.
I think he's now turned over that goodness factor because he says, I have a lot to learn from you, Dad. Let's be partners. And
Let me
they've
come
now
back.
agreed.
Do you think it's a trick, or is he really wanting to be his partner?
I think he really wants to be his partner. I think he's all in. Because he now has no love. He's betrayed by love. So now he's got work.
I don't think his desire to be part of the Kents and be embraced by them is gone. It's just
Right.
that he's trying to embrace his strengths now rather than run away from them.
yeah.
And he says, the only reason I survived on that island is because of what you taught me and how to survive.
Which
and
is
there's
good.
more for me to learn.
I like that. I
I just
that
think
moment.
Lex is he's just that classic supervillain in the making where he's got this pure evil piece and a really, really good piece. And we have to deal with both of those in Smallville at the same time.
Which is so realistic.
One thing I'm really happy about here, and it's just selfish, it's not crucial, is that Lex gives the deed back to the Kents.
Yeah, he buys
Right?
the farm.
He buys it
but
all
he
the
doesn't.
way.
He doesn't buy it for himself at all. He puts their names on the deed, so it's the Kent's
It's
farm.
Kent's farm. I'm happy because as much as it's a real thing and something they would deal with, we don't see the financial challenges of the Kents anymore.
It's gone?
Like for as far as the farm
The
goes,
struggle.
we just don't see that
Because I
as a
think he
problem
bought it
anymore.
in full, paid for it, so now there's no farm payments. They just own it. It's just
that's-
theirs. It's done.
Yay! Oh, that's so happy.
And at least Jonathan can accept the life debt kind of
I didn't
thing.
think he would, honestly. I did not think he would. And so it was very heartwarming.
Yeah.
And he says, I only survived because of this compass that you gave me at the wedding.
All I
all I
ask.
want is that I be part of the Kent family. And it's so good. And then to quickly wrap this up, Clark's putting the Kent farm sign back on. So great. So wonderful.
And this was my favorite thing of yesterday, I think. I was watching this part of the episode and I'm like, Nicole, you really like Clark in that shirt, don't you? And she said, yes, I just want to lick his whole body.
I just watched 2 straight episodes of him doing some things and I felt happy.
You took Daniel to bed with his socks on.
It was really, really funny. I was giggling about it. And so, yeah, I mean, that shirt does look really good on him. It's a
He
perfect
just looks
fit.
the best in blue.
He does. It's a good color. And so Lana's like, please, I just want to love you. And he's like, no, I am going to keep hurting you. We're not. Let's not. And
Which
she
is
rides
legit.
away all sad.
Do you think at this point she could handle his secrets?
No.
No way.
If you look at the way he looks now in his blue shirt and you were to compare it against season 1, episode 1 Clark, he really looks like a man versus a child.
Yeah,
Yes.
He is definitely swolled up, as the kids say.
that's true. He's buff. And it's
As we say,
appreciated.
buff.
You kind of like that a little bit?
Oh, I'm so into Clark right now. My youth is coming out of me. I just love it.
She has hormones.
Yeah, but let's discuss. That's the end of the episode. So, super or man?
Super.
Super.
Yeah.
I think so
It's
too.
a super conclusion to a super 3-part series.
Yeah, it's
of
kind of. I
episodes.
feel like if you're just watching these, you're not gonna stop. You're gonna watch 4 episodes back to back, no matter what you're doing, no matter what time of day. You're gonna watch up to this point, and then I think you would be like, okay, I'll go to bed now,
Yes.
because they're all so good and so packed full of information. Except Clark's a moron and cuts his wrist in front of people. Don't do that, people.
Don't cut your wrist.
Don't
Don't
do it.
show your weaknesses.
Yes.
Oh,
Seriously.
I was taking that as don't do it in front of people, but I guess I won't do it, period.
Yeah,
Okay,
nope,
good.
don't do that.
Not this time. Just
No
kidding.
cutting wrists, period. And
Can I-
don't show your weaknesses.
What about cutting other things?
No.
Oh,
No cutting.
oh, okay. No cutting at all.
You can cut
No
paper.
self-harm.
The moral
Go
of this
cut paper and
episode:
cut meat. It's good.
do not cut yourself and be
Look good in blue.
and look good in
lift
blue.
weights.
Yeah.
Yes, I think that's a good moral of the story.
Don't marry crazy people.
Yeah, that's a good one. And keep your Hippocratic oaths if you'd make them.
Yes. Well, that's
On
weird.
those lessons learned, let's end. Thank you for remembering Smallville with us. Join us next week when
We have another double feature where
John Tucker must kill.
And Clark takes a nap.
Four friends on a mission: Daniel, Nicole, Brad, and Kim. Talking Smallville every week. The podcast a gem. Smallville nights we laugh out loud. Every week they make us proud. Daniel, Nicole, Brad, and Kim. In the world we find our thrill. Heroes fly and legends grow. Stories shared, they make it flow. From Clark Kent to Lex's schemes, they uncover every dream. Smallville nights we laugh out loud. Every week they make us proud. Daniel, Nicole, Brad, and Kim. In the world we find our thrill. Watching tales of old, their voices pure gold. Every twist, every turn, with them there's much to learn. Smallville nights we laugh out loud.